Good morning, team, and welcome to the Midwest Championships. We are here right outside of the breezy city of Chicago, Illinois, where we're about ready to watch the Division II final between the Indianapolis Impalas and the Milwaukee Barbarians. My name is Darian Lovelace. I'm joined by founder of Great American Rugby, Lance Kavanaugh. Lance, always a pleasure to have you around. What are we going to see today for this matchup between these two teams?
We're going to see the best and one of the strongest geographical unions here in the United States, the Midwest.
All thanks to Next Level Rugby Productions. We're here at the Chicago Blaze facility. A little moment of silence, though, as they did lose one of their players this week, Tim Samuels IV. One little moment before we get started for kickoff for him. And referee's going to go ahead and signal that the game will start. That's referee Dan Frankenfeld. To the right, we'll see Milwaukee in the blue, and to the left, that is going to be Indianapolis in the white and black. Good take already right from the jump, and the game is now underway. A little show and go there by the 9. He crosses back inside, flips it back in, and it is snatched up quickly by the Barbarians, and now they're off to the attack. We're pinned back in this 40. A high tackle call found from Frankenfeld, and that'll be the first penalty of this match.
You talk about an opening 30 seconds that has a lot. We got a penalty, a turnover, a show and go. It's going to be a good one.
Go ahead and go to the boot. Probably will find it within Eric Hachowitz. The matchup between the fly halves is really going to be where it's at, Lance. We've got two very experienced fly halves with Will McGee on the Impalas, and then we've got Hachowitz. Here, we'll just take a look back at this penalty.
If you have Will McGee as your 10, you're in pretty good standing and have a shot to win this game at any point.
Back foot, back up!
Barbarians already trying to muscle their way past the 50 with a maul. Stops the momentum, and they go ahead and move it to the inside center. Tries to dish defend, but he's met heavily. They elect now to go back to this weak side. Forwards are waiting. Good leg drive, though, coming in early. Finally able to break some ground. Met quickly, though, by the Impalas. Looks like it'll be a knock-on, and we'll have a scrum right at the 50.
Looks like both teams are settling in. Obviously, in the first 2 minutes, we've yet to see the structure really shine, but both teams are bringing high energy. We expect a physical matchup, and in the Midwest, it's always physical matchups. These are some of the best in D2. We should see a very competitive game. Look at the leg drive here. Guys getting around the corner and the ability to get the hands through, but just got to be at a set without no knock-ons, and we'll see how they settle in as the game goes on.
I've got your head on his shoulder. You bind a little bit farther up, keep the elbow up.
First scrum of the game. Up in the front row with the Milwaukee Barbarians, we've got the number 1, Colin De Ocampo, the saxophone player. Let's see if he can make some tunes up here in the front row.
Set.
Ball is in. Easy contest up in the front row. And now it'll go ahead and get worked behind. A nice little behind the back pass. Finds it in the hands of, that's Liam Hanley. Liam Hanley dishes it back inside to the center. He dishes a fend. Cut back inside, and that'll be the first try of the match. Frankenfeld looks like he's heading over to the side to converse with our AR. Try is awarded, and that'll be the first try of the match, and it goes in favor of the Indiana Impalas. But Lance, let's take a look at this pass.
Absolutely great setup. Crash line out the back, the deception there. Flankers unable to get away from that scrum and really put pressure on the 10 coming from the inside out. But from there, it's just a 2-on-1 and a fin to find his way in. 5 points, and we begin D2 Midwest Championships, and already off to a great start. This is going to be a great show for Indy. And let's see if they can continue that. They've shown that they got the structure. They have the sound structure to be able to run plays and set pieces. And that is something that has to be fixed right now for Milwaukee, because next thing you need its line breaks through the middle of the field consistently on a day like today.
McGee goes ahead and finds the boot and is able to get that conversion. But Lance, you talked about it. This behind the back pass was just seamless. And then the second touch there for the center who didn't get it on the inside ball. That's really what makes it happen for them.
To set the table and be the one to finish the meal is a blessing when you're the distraction for a blocker play like that. So that's good. He able to get to try, and now they're up 7.
Barbarians now set with the kickoff. It goes high. Ball is kind of bobbled towards the back, but it looks like the Impalas are able to field it cleanly. McGee goes to the boot. He's back behind the 22, so ball can't go out. It's at the 50. And now the Barbarians are on the attack. And now right in front of the 40. They go ahead and work it through the forwards. The pod's already set. Big, strong double tackles, though, coming in from the Impalas. They go ahead and use a switch line back inside. And ends up right back in the same place that they were at before with that ruck. A little bit of messy ruck play kind of coming up there, and Frankenfell gives a not releasing penalty.
Tackler assist, not releasing.
Good sound comms from our sir. And it looks like it's a great opportunity to go for points. But even in that kick, the slowdown of the ball, not really playing with enough speed off of that ruck. And it seems like they're allowing this defense to set up and be able to engage and pick out attackers and play sound defense. I want to see Milwaukee potentially speed up ruck to ruck and maybe play with a little bit of speed, forcing this Indy team to space out and have to control and occupy space defensively. But they force a penalty, and now they have a chance to cut this lead down to 4 off of the leg of their winger, number 11, Liam, who's a sports writer. He wants to write the perfect story right here, get 3 points from Milwaukee, maybe cut into this early deficit they find themselves in. Does he have the leg, though?
The stomp and the kick, ball is up. Looks like it'll go a little bit far right, and it's short. So now the Impalas are off to the attack. They are moving it through the hands. Well done there by the number 13, Ryan Barton. He's got a pregnant wife who made the check. She's 8.5 months pregnant, due at the end of the month. So he'll be working really hard throughout this match. They're now over across the 50. Good ground gained. McGee goes to the boot. It's behind the wing. The fullback has to try and gather it. He's pinned all the way back in the corner. Has a little bit of time. Uses some footwork. Slides off one. Finally has to move it. A tackle made in center field. They're still pinned back in the 22. And an unfortunate knock-on gives it the Impalas a good attacking platform. But Frankenfell calls it back for an offsides penalty. And that'll be a little bit of a sigh of relief for the Barbarians.
Yeah, once again, this Indy team is deciding to kick and play territory a little bit. They've already kicked early twice. Now to pin Milwaukee deep in their own end, and Milwaukee and offsides just slight offsides, and with a knock on, Milwaukee is bailed out.
Both teams have an extreme boot, so these penalties are just not going to be any reward because both teams can kick for the sideline we see here. We're already at the 50. Past it, and it'll be the Barbarians. They go up in at the center of the line out, and they field it cleanly. Trying to use that inside cut back.
Let's take a half step. Yeah.
Rams goes ahead and moves it to Patchowitz. A good straightening line from the center. Gets him some good go forward. This is looking promising from them. Using a little bit of a cut back inside the footwork. Left an Impala on the ground. They've got some space to work with wide left if they can move it. Trying now, but this defense is coming up quick from the Impalas. It looks like the number 13 is able to get over, and that'll be a steal now in favor of the Impalas. And now they're on the attack.
Good, we're playing.
Temple moves it. And a forward pass. Looks like it will get called back for the Barbarians, but let's talk about the number 9 for the Indian Impalas, who's been everywhere, really testing the corner. He's also coached 12 of the players who play on his team.
Yeah.
We talk about rugby, Lance, and about giving back. You're a big advocate for that, but that's a very impressive feat for the number 9.
Okay.
And it's definitely
Forward
great to have
pass.
someone close to you, but boom!
Scrum.
What a shot taken
Time is done.
by the wing, trying to deliver a kick down the field. And there was a forward pass earlier. So
Props on this side.
unfortunately, he
Last
took
turn
that
we
shot for
started
no
angling in.
reason.
Let's keep it nice and square.
But like you were saying about Mike Temple, to be able to coach guys and now have to lean on them for a chance to win the Midwest, it would be a dream come true to have your younger guys help carry you and work with you to get a championship. So let's see if he can accomplish that goal.
Scrum is getting a little bit messy there for the Barbarians, but they're able to get it out. And now good ball movement, a massive skip pass. Makes it so that they're in the 15. It looks like that tackle was definitely high. Frankenfeld calls it back. And it'll look like they'll, of course, go to the boot. Both teams finding a lot of real estate.
Milwaukee really showed a little bit there. They have the ability to play their shapes off set piece and go wide. Dummy out the back, skip all the way out to the full. Great phase of play. Got a penalty involved. They seem to be really good with ball in hand, running straight on. They had moments earlier, but let's see if open play they can keep that going, because they seem to be having slower ball than what would allow them to really attack this Indy defense with a lot of success.
Ball goes up, and it looks like the Impalas threw a center pot in the middle, and then they cause a turnover. McGee goes to the back and finds a connection within Grenfell. Grenfell kicks it up. It looks like a penalty, though, will get called all the way back within the 22. See what Frankenfell will show.
Blue number 4, offside.
Yep, offsides. And I've seen this, sir, on a number of occasions. He has a great command of the game, great control, and we see his communication. It's very strong, very high. He's directing traffic, making sure no one infringes on the game, disrupts the spirit of the game, as they say in the law book. The number 4 getting caught slight offsides.
Either way, you were in front of the back foot.
Because he wasn't at the back foot with a down maul. So unfortunately, found himself in the wrong spot in an early jump. Gives Indy an opportunity to kick away and have a line out just past halfway around the 10-meter line.
Ball goes up for that line out. It's fielded cleanly by the Impalas. They find a high tackle, though, from the Barbarians. It gives them a really nice attacking position. They've got a couple options here. Looks like McGee is talking to Frankenfell as to what they might do. Looks like he's set up, and he'll go ahead and kick for the line out, get them a little bit closer to the try zone. But both teams, Lance, really lacking a little bit of discipline when it comes to that offsides and those high tackles.
We've already seen a number of high tackles, and I know Will has no problem kicking his team down the field to get them close to the try zone. Please keep giving us these easy penalties, he says, and just over and around the shoulder, get lower on them tackles. Get low, bro, is the expression.
And the Barbarians will work their way in front and get a turnover there for the line out. Ball goes up with a kick within the 22. Grenfell now has it. He cuts back inside, gives one fend. A good low tackle from the number 4 gets him down right at the 40.
Blue number 3, offside.
Temple moves it. It sounds like there's an advantage yet again for an offsides call against the Barbarians. So now we'll see what the Impalas can cook up based off of this advantage. McGee moves it out the back. He then moves it through the centers. The wing now has it and has a little bit of space to work with. Heads back inside, offloads from the ground, a little kick through. advantage was gained. They got a lot of good meters with that, but a little chip kick pins the Barbarians deep within their own end.
Okay, so
And
it's
they've
1-1
got a
now.
lot of ground to cover
Thank you.
now.
I mean, when this team seems to get rolling and they can operate in their shapes, great catch and gather there, but hands all the way to the wing. This is going to be a wide playing game for this Indy team. They seem to have an attachment to these skills, being able to play it all the way out.
Back foot.
They go ahead and try and maul, but the Impalas are ruthless in trying to bring them to ground. It looks like the ball is getting caught underneath the middle. We'll see if Frankenfeld calls it up. He does. It goes in favor of the Barbarians. And so they'll get a scrum right within the 22.
Both teams, great opportunities from mistakes given by the other side, but unable to capitalize. Indy having an opportunity deep inside of Milwaukee's end, but unfortunately couldn't make it happen. Milwaukee defense stingy, getting the ball back, but can they relieve pressure and get from there on in and maybe play on the other side of the field while down 7-0?
15 minutes into this first half, we'll see the team start to settle into their pattern. The scrum has been a massive piece of this game. Shoulder goes down, though, for that prop. It looks like that was Dio Campo, who lost his footing, lost the bind. Frankenfeld will call it back up, and they will have a re-scrum.
Next time.
Yet again, great command of the game by the Sir.
So here's the picture
I expect
that I
this
have.
game
You've got a
to
shoulder
run and
depth, so
operate
you're
very
starting off at an
smoothly.
angle.
Now flipping sides. After this scrum collapse, both teams on the contact going straight down.
So I want your elbow up,
Shoulder
and I want your
contact
shoulder
and down. It looks like the Milwaukee side
Bring that forward. Crouch.
hit the ground first, sealed the ball away, but the Sir running it back. We must scrum again.
Set.
Ball is within the hands of the Barbarians. Pressure coming in, though, quickly. He's got to go ahead and find the boot. Finds it over the 40, but it's still in the end of the Impalas. A little bit of a step back inside. That's the number 15. That's Grenfell. Grenfell does two big goose steps and is able to get down for the try in the corner.
Grenfell seeing the space off the left, getting around the corner, and playing the tempo game. As we see him going in against one-on-one against that defender, slows down a bit. Magnificent work off the left foot. Mucho stepo for the guy who is fluent in Spanish from Spain. Easy does it. Little goosey hesitation move. Oh, and he had that winger dead to rights. Looked inside, played the tempo game, and again, off of the left foot. Sorry, I'm too close. This is money. These are 5, and now we're up 12-0. What a great step combination to get his team over. Barbos not relieving the pressure as they needed, giving the stepper an opportunity to play with ball in hand. Didn't need any help, him by himself, and now an opportunity to go up 14-0 early in this Midwest Championship.
Go ahead and we'll see Temple go for points. Looks like the ball is short, so score will remain 12-0. Now, the Impalas played the Chicago Plays last week for the semifinal, and we've seen them time and time again be able to run up points. They beat them 38-26, and it's because of the elusiveness found in players like Grenfell, the good ball movement that comes in from McGee, but that was just a beautiful individual effort from the Impalas player. And the Barbarians are going to have to find an answer here early on as we get ready to enter into the next 20 minutes of this first half for the D2 National Championship. As I say that, they go up for a very good contest, but the Impalas are able to field it. Sending it now within their forwards. They take it right into the heart of this Barbarian defense. Barbarians are going to have to get a little bit barbaric here in their contact, allowing a lot of meters to come in for the Impalas. We see the ball bounce. Ball stays in play, though. Good night. Almost causes a nightmare for Milwaukee. Milwaukee is going to have to try and hold their weight. It looks like, though, that'll be a knock-on. Frankenfeld holds up his hand to the left, meaning that it'll be a scrum right here probably about 10 meters out from their try zone.
The re-kick to keep the ball in play, and the defensive line speed from Indy to add up to the pressure and force a turnover to find the Barbarians deep in their own end again. But this time, can they capitalize and make the most of their own work? They did a good job pinning Milwaukee back on their own end. Chance again with ball. Do they have another set piece written and drawn up from the yard that can get them over and get them into the try zone right now?
Set.
Scrum already looking a little bit unstable there.
Stabilize at set. We have one reset. Here's your mark. Got your hips popping
Reset
out.
from
Go
Frankenfeld.
down. Yeah, so you keep that elbow up and he sinks. It's yours.
Check.
Trying to tell, it looks like Irvin, the number 3, who's got a bullet in his head. Also is trying to get into the head of Grams on the other side. And referee is giving him the green light to go ahead and work that bind. Both hold their weight very well, though, on this right-hand side. Looks like the Impalas are trying to drive it over, but the Barbarians hold strong. The number 8 picks it up. Baker meets him quickly. The contest at the breakdown, they pick and go. See some forwards start to really ramble in now. Hand goes up for an offsides penalty, but the low body height will go ahead and get the number 1 that looks like Greg Oldigus. He'll go ahead and get another try for the Impalas against the Barbarians.
Set piece play, simple 8-man pick, option to go to the 9, but they don't need it. Big crash by the 8, 2 more pick and goes, and before you know it, the hooker from Jackson, Michigan, the chef cooking up a try for his guys. And look at this drive. This Barbarians found themselves giving up a penalty, trying their best, fighting, clawing, doing everything they can to keep Indy out. But unfortunately, when a team is determined as this team seems to be, working together, getting drive from additional forwards, it's really hard to stop that unless you're getting extremely low and structured. And unfortunately, the Barbarians didn't have that ready. Indy, again, with another try, capitalizing on their good work. And can they extend the lead? 19? No, sir. Flag stayed down. But a 17-0 lead built off of the work that they did from the backs, getting the ball back to the team on the other end, and the forwards finishing and capitalizing. It seems like this might be a runaway if the Barbarians don't stand up
It was
right
one of your
now.
men that took a 4-point stance, hands in front.
Kenny, the number 2, really showing how hungry he is to get over that try line. The Barbarians just need somebody to go ahead and light the match, make a big bone-crunching tackle, get a good run, really find a way to set the team off. They played the Eastside Banshees in the semifinal, barely got that win, 19-17 by the skin of their teeth. So not a team to be discounted. They go ahead and they elect to go high on that kickoff. They try and go up for the contest, but just not able to field it cleanly. And this is not what they want. The Impalas now have the ball in hand. Big run coming in from the lock, it looks like. He gained some really good ground there. McGee goes behind the back. Dummy's back inside is Grenfell, the try scorer. Temple now moves it back into the forwards. They set up deep, but they hit the line so flat. McGee thinks about kicking, moves it back inside to the forwards. They're making some very good ground here, well over the 50. McGee moves it into the center. He gets it to the wing. It's Stephen Okoro. Good contest, though, coming in. It looks like, though, he lost the footing.
Blue number 7 not rolling. Timing of poach was fine, but you lost your feet after.
Daddy long leg with the
Blue number
inside
7.
step after the gather. Forcing a penalty. Barbarians defense again giving up a penalty. Great opportunity to maybe find a winger isolated, be able to add pressure, maybe go for the turnover, but unfortunately the referee sees something not rolling away, he calls.
Just go
And
straight for
again,
ball. If you get to the
Indy
ground, roll away.
able to kick their way to gain meters. No ball and hand work. No need to run down the field. We'll kick it, get the line out, and see what they can create. Can Indy go in again?
No, sorry.
It goes up on the line out, but it looks
Yeah.
like it went a little bit too
Scrum.
far left. That was
Scrum.
not straight.
Not straight.
So that'll be a scrum, and now going in favor of the Barbarians.
You go.
Player to talk about here for the Barbarians is the number 4, Austin Motor. He's been trying to work his way over the ball. We just saw him try and get that poach on the last one, but we'll take a look at this line out. Ball goes up. They're trying to get that player in the air. And with that pressure, causes the ball to go a little bit far left. That'll result in a turnover in possession.
Fine.
Great choice for Milwaukee to go with the scrum. Lineout's been a
for
little
winning
shaky.
the,
Seems like their scrums have been a little bit more
Make sure
stable,
you're
able to
going
retain
Yeah,
ball.
fine, fine.
But now the question is, do they kick towards the middle of the field as they did last time? They had to pay the price, gave up 5 points in the corner. They look like they're set up for another kick. Can they get that defensive line and that defensive line speed together on these kick defenses to maybe keep Indy from having another shot at tries?
Rams puts the ball in. Front row loses their footing, but it's fine because ball made it through the back. A knock on, though, unfortunately, by Thompson. It gives the ball right back to the Impalas down in this end. A little bit of a tip for Tad after a knock on from the Impalas as well. Force Frankenfeld to go ahead and bring it back for the original knock on. And it'll go in favor of the Impalas in a beautiful attacking position.
I mean, there's absolutely no excuse for that one. Just an unfortunate mental error. Knocking the ball on, finally getting an opportunity to really get ball in hand. Ty does, but unfortunately, the real estate agent couldn't find a home for the ball, and now Indy has a shot deep in the Barbarians in.
Fine. Set.
And all thanks to the ball going in from Temple. But the pressure coming in from Grams forces a turnover. Motor tries to give the ball, but the pressure coming in from the Impalas forces them to cut back inside. Ball now is moving pretty well, but this defense holding strong. They've got to go ahead and go to boot. It's a long kick. Grenville has to turn around to regather it. Looks like he's going to go ahead and boot it straight back. Ball stays in play, but it's pinned all the way back in the 22. They go ahead and kick it close to the sideline. Looks like he was outside of that 22 meter, which forces the ball to come straight back for a line out. That'll go in favor of the Impalas. We'll go ahead and take a look, though, at this D4 championship. All thanks to Next Level Rugby. We've got all the rugby going on today. We've got the Chicago Silverbacks versus the Finlay Scars. And Chicago looks like they're running a mess, 41-21, with about 30 seconds to go. It looks like that will be your Midwest D4 champion. Let's go ahead and tune back in to this D2 championship. Both teams vying for the spot. Almost a jersey tackle. Having to hold on for dear life, not able to field it cleanly. A dummy from the big man. He's met heavily. McGee now goes to the back. The behind the back, quick hands coming in. Number 13, Ryan Barton has to gather it. Temple has to quickly field this. The ruck is getting a little bit messy, so then they elect to go for the pick and goes. That's Irvin. A little bit of frustration coming in from the Impalas. McGee has to step back inside. He pops it quickly. That's the number 7, Wells. Wells almost gets into that try zone. They're about 3 meters out. A knock on, bobbles it off of the big man's shoulders. And that'll be a scrum about 5 meters outside the Barbarians try zone.
That phase of play from Indy says a lot about the character of this team. They were cleaning up messes left and right. Ball's messy, they find a way to make it work. Just right there with that pass going off the chest and hands of their lock number 4, Lee Robb. But the grouping of those forwards, what they just did on that sideline, if that carry on throughout the day, we might see potentially a lot more scoring opportunities for Indy because they found a way to keep the ball during immense pressure from Milwaukee.
Bind.
The Impalas are really playing heads-up rugby versus Milwaukee Barbarians. Milwaukee now has the ball fed in. A lot of pressure coming in from the front row. Turns it around. Hanley has to go to the boot. Pinned center field. Ball does not go outside of the 22. Using a little bit of some chip kicks. Frankenfell
Here or there?
hauls it back. That's a big amount of penalty advantage. It looks like that's the number 11, Braden Goodnight. Goodnight finds himself in the try zone. That'll be yet another one. And Indianapolis just keep on edging their way farther and farther from the Barbarians in this D2 final.
Braden has been having quietly one of the better games from the backs here. The kick earlier, now with the quick tap going in to score. If you have good night on your team, it's going to be a bad day for the other guys because this dude is putting it all together, making those timely, positively mental plays, the re-kick, the steal earlier, and now going in to get some points. It's good to see his work pay off to get 5. And this Milwaukee team are reeling. They have to find a way to stop the bleeding and minimize their mistakes because they are giving Indy every opportunity they need to get more and more and more points on the board.
10 minutes left to go in this D2 final for the Midwest Rugby Championships. Temple, the number 9, will go ahead and kick it. Far left angle of a kick. Ball goes up. Looks like it's short. So our score will still stay 22-0. But Lance, this work rate coming in from the Impalas, it just doesn't seem to allow the Barbarians to give any type of answer.
As simple as it put, it seems as though they just wanted more. That is the simplest way that I can put it from what I've seen so far in this first half. They have the energy, the tenacity, the mental mistakes are at a minimum, and they're just capitalizing on every wrongdoing that Milwaukee has.
Hanley goes ahead and boots it pretty far down into this end. Good leg drive, though, and the number 5, that's Zach Douglas.
We're going to play. We're going to play, okay? Both of you drop.
High contact, though, versus Frankenfell to say that they're going to continue to play on.
I heard somebody come
Playing
in.
a little bit more safer rugby. Leads to McGee having to go to the boot. And this is the closest that the Barbarians have come to their try zone in the last 10 minutes. We've only got about 10 minutes left to go in this first half.
You never want to say a game is over in the first half, but with the score as it is and the tide of the game going, now is the best time ever to get points on the board and make the most of an opportunity. Miskicked earlier for penalty points. Now, can they push forward to score here?
They go up in the front pod on the line out, and they're able to field it cleanly. And now it goes through the hands of Pauchowicz. Pauchowicz tries to move it to a center. It's met heavily, though. That's Motor. Motor's work rate has really shown for the Barbarians. It's a little spin move. Ball is coming out very slowly, though, for the Barbarians. Allows a lot of time for the Impalas to get into their face. They go ahead and move it back to the right-hand side. They've got some space to work with. Oh, a show and go from the big man. That's Deo Campo. Making some music. This looks promising from them. They go ahead now. They're getting some meters, chipping away, and as I say that, they get tackled inbounds by Indianapolis. McGee goes ahead and chucks the ball back in order to keep playing. A fend, though, from Grenfell. Puts them into a better attacking position. They go ahead and go behind the back to McGee. McGee kicks it up. Fielded cleanly, though, by the number 15. A good ankle tackle comes in from the Impalas. Now they're right back where they started. A lot of ground to cover.
We're playing.
Ball comes out of the back of the ruck, and now the Impalas will go ahead and have time to attack.
Okay, let's get eyes on that ARs. Thank you.
Ball now continuing to move through. A good straightening run coming through. And that'll go ahead and give them yet another try. The Impalas are running up the scoreboard.
The referee is looking back at an incident before he gives the try on this one. It seems to be a little scuffle behind the last ruck earlier in the phase play.
Any reason
asked
why I should
ARs
not
for-
award the try? Do we have foul play that would change the direction of the ball?
No, they were threatening. They didn't. No punch.
Okay, thank you.
You took yourself out of the game. There's a gap there. Hey, Joe. You ran right through it.
And just like that, he's given the try. But man, Milwaukee earlier, less than a minute and a half ago, shown what they can do when they play with a little bit of speed, a little bit of continuity, playing a little faster in this open play moments. Ball goes out of bounds, and Indy decides it is time for them to turn it on. And 6 phases later, and a little scuffle, as you can see on the left side of your screen, Indy finds himself with a higher work rate, more focus at the job at hand, and the number 8, Zach Marsh, the personal trainer who spent time at Indiana University, the Hoosier, dives in. He was also first team All Big Ten during his time with Indiana, and right now it looks like his team will be first team All Midwest Division II because they are running away with this game early. First half, and it already seems to be out of hand. Hopefully, the Barbarians can find a way to fight back, but with 5 minutes left in this half.
With one of the white number 3, and we don't have a number for blue. It was you? Yeah, so we got to get it out of the game. All right, you guys scored the try, so we're just going to play on. What I want for blue is a more calming presence, so I don't want to see you getting into afters, and if he is, I want to see you getting your players out. Yeah, okay. Are we good? Do we need to work anything out? All right, let's play rugby.
As I said before, control of the ref. Yeah, control of that referee. He's doing a fantastic job.
6 minutes remaining.
And we saw even with the World Cup, the infractions that happen for captains are a lot more severe. So the number 8 captain, Tom Fossil, is really going to have to hold himself to a higher standard as they continue on. Frustration probably setting in a little bit for the Barbarians, as the Impalas just keep pummeling runners on through. McGee now relieves a little bit of pressure and goes to the boot. Good contest at the time of kick receipt. Goes in favor of the Barbarians, and they're over the 50. Ball slows down a little bit. They move it now through the pods. Looks like that's Motor, yet again, one of their primary ball carriers. Grams gives it to a waiting pod. Right here, we see a little bit of a knock on. He's able to field it, though, but that's a massive hit coming in from Irvin.
Rolling. Yep.
But a not rolling penalty now allows them to
number 3.
have a little bit of time to regroup.
I'm really trying to learn what is Milwaukee's mode of attack. What were their objectives coming into this game? I don't know if they felt they can out-physical this Indy team and bring a level of physicality that'll push them off the field. But right now, they need to speed up all of their thought processes. Their tempo of their team needs to go up. The energy needs to go up. At a moment like this, it's either now or never, even though we're still in the first half, which is unbelievable to say. But they have to find a way to get the energy up right now, because 27 points in Indy with this confidence is just making it tougher as the maul begins.
Back foot now, back foot now.
Maul goes ahead and gets started. They got some good go forward, and they're continuing to pummel it forward. We see arms reaching over the top. Grams now gets it. Moving it now through the hands. The number 10 moves it to a center. A good straightening line coming in from Thompson. Gets them into an even better position. Ball gets called back, though, for an unfortunate knock-on. And Lance, one thing that you were saying is, what does the Barbarians have to do? One thing that Indianapolis is doing that's very intelligent is they're leaving the rucks alone. You see all 14 of them setting up in the defensive line, and that defensive pressure is causing the Barbarians to not seem to have an answer. They want to stay in the thick of this game. They've got to be able to play heads-up rugby, ditch the plan that you had at the original time of the game, and just play what's in front of you. Right now, Indianapolis is showing this very tight pressure defense. And the Barbarians are going to have to, exactly.
And it works for them. If you got a guy like Greenfield out the back, let him kick it to you. Could you trust his boot and his leg? And yet again, a kick down, playing the pressure game, and that might be a 50-22. That might be a 50-22. And it is. Converted 50-22. Indy putting it all together this afternoon.
McGee gets it right within the 22, and that was a deep kick. Almost looked like it was at the end of the other 22.
22-22, and the team gets the ball back again. This Indy team is looking more dangerous as they get more confident. With every climbing second, they find themselves doing a little bit more, something a little bit different, but great steal here.
Okay, so I've got a knock on by Blue, and then do we have into touch or kicked?
When he knew he knocked on, he threw it into touch. It was just the knock on.
Okay. Okay, so we're just going to have the knock on, and I'll offer a gentle reminder, you cannot throw the ball into touch. Okay? Scrum down.
It looks like Tim, number 9 for the Barbarians, picked up the knock-on ball and just waited for the referee to blow the whistle and preemptively just tossed the ball away. And that actually could have compounded the issue. Luckily, the referee gave him credit for the first knock and didn't add on to what the issue was Indy's put in for the scrum here.
Frankenfeld gives a little bit of correction, but still the Barbarians push them back. Temple's under a little bit of pressure here. This looks better from them, but the ball goes ahead and goes wide. Well done to go ahead and corral them back inside. That's the number 11, Hanley. Good leg drive tackle, though, coming in from the Barbarians. This is what they need to stay in this game. We're seeing some very good line speed coming in from them as they defend this try zone. Barbarians now coming in very hot. Motor gets them to ground quickly. Good friend of R.L. Stein, the Goosebumps author. A little bit of pressure defense forces Good Night to have to try and corral it. And do the Barbarians corral him into touch? That's the energy that they need.
Okay, line up.
And not a moment too soon. What a time to show up defensively. That defensive structure, they must have been listening to you about how Indy is leaving these rucks alone, because they decided to take a cue from that, play straight up defense, found themselves having a defensive advantage on the edge after a bad pass, and a winger isolated against 2 bigger guys. I've been there before. It is a nightmare situation, dragged out of bounds, and now Indy has a man down with a little break we have right before halftime.
Looks like that's Lee Robb. Took a little bit of a knock to the knee. 27-0. We're probably leaning more towards the last play of this first half.
Okay, so he's okay? Yeah. Okay, good to hear.
As I look at the issues that Milwaukee seems to be having during the course of this day, a big part of them could be alleviated just playing that defensive pressure that they just brought just now, continuing that into the half. Whenever they minimize their own mistakes and refuse to give any light, any opportunities, they play really good defense. But unfortunately, Indianapolis is just capitalizing on any little nugget that's given to them. And even now, with the little break that they got, will the Barbarians be able to capitalize, figure out a way to get some points on the board before this halftime whistle blows and cut into this lead? Because it's not over till it's over, right?
Exactly, and they go ahead and they get that line out. And now they're going to go ahead and maul. That's Motor at the back. They recycle well, and they continue to press on. They've got to work the ball back and get it away from the Impalas. They do. They go a little bit high and holding on to jerseys. He's tackled to ground. They've got some room to work with out to the left if they can go ahead and move it. Doing a good job now. They've got a 2v1. This looks very promising from them. The number 14, he's got some room to work with. He cuts back inside, gives it back in. Grenfell comes around. Unfortunately, he knocks it on right outside of the try zone, and now the Impalas have it. But wow, what a series of play.
It might be half.
And it looks like...
Oh, no. Whoa.
Unfortunately, that will be
Can I
half.
get captains for 30 seconds for
What a ending to the half. They had an opportunity showing that if they play with speed and the width, Milwaukee can get around the corner, but right at time couldn't get it converted, and the halftime whistle blows as we recap some of the best plays of the first half.
27-0. Indy is still leading over Milwaukee, but Milwaukee will have time to go ahead and regroup to try and figure out how to snuff out players like Grenfell and McGee. Stay with us, though. We'll be back for the second half of this D2 National Championship. You're not going to want to miss it.
Next level rugby.
You know, we as a country, we've been at war since 2001. And I think that a lot of people who are not involved in the military really don't think about it.
Get across. House 19, but I'm saying, you know, we finish here, but we can orient up and then get eyes on the enemy. You know.
It's not on the forefront of the news anymore. We have people out every day taking risk, and obviously sometimes they pay the ultimate price.
I mean, there's some hard stories in there. So they're all great guys. You wish they were still here today with you, but you understand. You know, duty calls. They serve the mission, and there's tragic. You know, there's tragedy and everything. And you know, a lot of them died in war. Others died when they came back home. And
we have our jerseys, and since the beginning, we've worn a black mourning band, and that black mourning band stands apart as a reminder to us of who we're playing for.
Who are we playing for?
Marines. Our brothers.
Right there. That's what we're playing for. Play with their fighting spirit. They can't be here. You fucking make it up for them right now, all right?
There's a lot of suffering and pain involved, but you try to bring the good out in every situation, and this is our way of doing it.
It's Friday night, what we come here for. That's the main event. And we go to the Legion, and we have the ceremony. Remember our fallen, talk about them, we tell stories, remember their lives.
Brett Beacon. Lance Corporal Richard Burstetta. Major Jeremy Grazik. Lieutenant Colonel Dave Green. Major Ryan Hansen. Lance Corporal Eric Herzberg. Sergeant Donald Lamar. Major John Lee. Captain John Maloney. Major Kevin Nave. Gunnery Sergeant Cap Pelletier. Captain Michael Quinn. Captain Patrick Rapico. Major John Roca. Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Shea. Corporal Jared Shoemaker. Lance Corporal Keynote Snow. Major Keith Takabayashi. Corporal Tyler Trevelyan. Captain Al Ziegler. As we do, let's raise a toast. I'm going to ask everybody to stand. To our fallen. And as we do, first verse of the Marine Corps hymn. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles on the air, on land, and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
That means you fucking put your shoulder into every fucking tackle. You put your shoulder into every fucking ruck. You take these guys down. You don't do stupid shit. We run it up, we fucking score, and we're done.
Fucking A, let's do this.
Do not leave anything else out here.
Come on, Marines!
On, 2, 3, Marines! Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
Welcome back, team, to this D2 Midwest Championship final between the Indianapolis Impalas and the Milwaukee Barbarians. We're here on Veterans Day, and what a better way to honor our veterans with this brutal game of rugby. My name is Darian Lovelace. I'm joined by Lance Kavanaugh, Great American Rugby. Lance, what was so great about this first half?
Well, we've seen one-way traffic throughout the first half. An Indy team who's realized that if they minimize their mistakes, play straightforward, play with heart, they get ahead pretty big. And Milwaukee having an opportunity to make a grand story for themselves. And if they can win this game, capitalize on a 27-point comeback, but it has to start right now.
Great job. Great job. Thank you.
McGee goes ahead and gets this second half underway, is able to go ahead and get the ball to bounce once and then bounce right out of bounds, and that pins the Barbarians all the way back in this end. We saw a little bit of promise from them towards the end of that first half. Their defensive pressure was on. We see a little bit of diversion in the front. That's smart play for them. The ball now goes underway. Got a lot of room to work with here. They go ahead and they move it. Now this looks good from them. A little bit of a show and go, cuts back inside, and now they're at the 40. Very risky play that pays off for them. Going ahead now is Motor.
Rolling.
And we see a not rolling away penalty coming in from Milwaukee. Lance, this is a change in energy from what we saw in the first half from them.
Yes.
This right here is reminding me of Tyson Fury in his boxing match where he got knocked down in the last round and stood up and brought the fight to his opponent. Right now, for the last 2 times they had hand and ball, Milwaukee has been running and rumbling forward. At the end of the first half, they had a great opportunity, and now they've shown that they play with that speed, if they play with that width, they can really give problems to this Indy team, and it looks like they're starting to get a little bit of confidence as we speak right now.
They get the line out. Ball gets tapped up at the top. It's a little bit messy, but they're able to field it cleanly. That's the number 12. That's Ty Ash. Ty Ash is met right at the 50. Ball is coming out a little bit slower from the Barbarians. They go ahead and they move it. A nice, good straightening run and a looping play coming in from the forwards. This is creative stuff from them. They're now within the 22. They go ahead now and they continue to ram it right into the heart of the
Off your feet.
Impalas. They try and get over the ball and they're just not able to get it. They've got some room now to work with, finding some little gaps. They cut back inside. An ankle tap tackle. Finally gets them down. Quick ball now coming in. They go ahead and they get around the corner. Again, using that cut back inside, but the Impalas adapt quickly. Quick hands now, gets it out. That's yet again Thompson. Thompson gets tackled right at the sideline. This is a good straightening run coming in. They offload it back inside, but The Impalas finally
Advantage is
get in the
over.
way. They stop momentum. McGee goes to the
Wait.
boot.
Wait, White.
He goes ahead and gets it within the
Space
pitch.
is at the top. Space is at the top. You got to get it there.
Okay, repeat
Unfortunately,
that
they don't work it
forward.
wide, but they still have some room to work with. They go ahead and they cut back inside, right into the pressure area.
Okay, hands away, White.
You see a little bit of contest, though, coming in. And a bridging penalty comes in
Thank you.
for
Yeah. Okay.
the Indianapolis Impalas.
Yeah, we got hands to ground.
And unfortunately, on an emerging ball, you can't dive in. It looks like he might be over the top of it.
I don't have a
Hands on the ball. Good clean out, but if the ball is freshly emerged, you cannot dive on top of it. Sir is right there ready for it. We are seeing something different from this Milwaukee team. If only they speed up from ruck to ruck, minimize that time with the ball in the tackle situation in the ruck areas, and play with a little bit of whiff. They seem to be giving Indy a little bit of stress that they weren't giving them in the first half.
Ask me.
We might see points on the board for this Milwaukee
We're
team,
good. We're
and
good. Keep
when
going.
it rains, it pours. We might see even more. So hopefully they can get
Yeah,
in now and create a game for us.
Those 10 minutes look like they meant the world to both teams as we see Milwaukee go ahead and continue on. A big counter ruck, though, coming in from the Impalas that leads to a breakdown turnover. And that'll go in favor of the Impalas, even though it has been all Barbarians for the first 5 minutes of this second half.
Absolutely. For Milwaukee, it has been the classic song from Linkin Park. We tried so hard, we got so far, but it doesn't even matter. One mistake erases everything. And this Indy team is doing exactly what it needs to defensively, bending but not breaking, finding the right opportunities to counter ruck. As you see there, forcing a mistake for the number 9 of Milwaukee, Tim jumping on the ball. The man from Grafton, Whitewater, making a crucial mistake and giving Indy an opportunity to not only kick and get space, but now they're on the attacking front foot. And they've been dangerous from set pieces from the very beginning of this game. Do they have it within them to get more points on the board right around the 10-minute line?
Ball goes up at the line out, and it looks like a possible knock-on coming in from Temple. Referee goes ahead and says play on. Temple now will go ahead and go to the boot. The referee will call it back. Frankenfell holds his arm out to the left, meaning that the Barbarians will finally have it. Coached by Patrick Sharp. He's got a bulldog whose name is Rugby. But it looks like Milwaukee are finally settling into their groove a little bit.
Well, he has a coach. Milwaukee has a coach. The coach has a dog named Rugby, so it's Rugby at home and Rugby on the pitch. Every day is a Rugby day for him. Shout out to Next Level Rugby.
Set.
Ready now.
Scrum to come.
Stay in. Just back up.
Ball now goes in, and the Barbarians bobble it, but they're able to go ahead and get it over the top. It looks like an obstruction called, and McGee goes ahead and he goes quick, trying to give a massive pass to Goodnight. It bounces once, it does not go forward, and so they'll continue to go ahead and press on. And now they're finally down in this end for the first time since the blow of the whistle for the second half. McGee now goes ahead and he moves it out wide. 2 forwards try and crash it inside. They go ahead now and they get the quick hands going. An ankle tap tackle forces them to be just short of the line. We see all players flooding in. A counter ruck looks good, and Temple's got to go in there and try and pick it out. Swarming over top is the Barbarians. McGee now is trying to move it to the big man, Nick Irvin. Now they've got time to go ahead and set up. Temple moves it to McGee. McGee flicks it back inside. A big Fen, though, comes in, almost bowls over the top of Ash. Ball ends up coming out of the side due to a breakdown infraction. Temple, he'll go on and tap it, gives a massive pass to an awaiting number 8. That's 2 tries to his name for Zach
The last
Marsh.
penalty was blue. I don't think it was number 8, but it was off feet. So we got hands on the ground again.
Hands on the ground again. AR giving good conversation to the sir. We really are seeing a difference in philosophy. Indy are playing faster, they playing wider, more expansive, and they're just finding
Yeah,
people
penalty
out.
advantage for the high tackle.
Defensively, if
I
Milwaukee
saw
isn't
one
spaced
by
out
number
correctly,
8.
especially after a penalty like that, that is really when your defense is the most vulnerable. And Indy seems to be making the right decisions at the right time. And it's not just that passage of play. It is a continuation from the first half.
Yeah, thanks.
It seems as though it's one-way traffic Indy's way. And right now they have an opportunity to even more expand on their lead to make it 34-0. Kick to come. But I really like what Milwaukee has been doing is the little bit of this first half. They've had shots, moments, opportunities. They've shown that they can compete if they approach the game and approach the team philosophy the right way, playing with speed and width. It seems as though one team currently is playing with speed and width, and the score indicates exactly what that means. We've seen wide balls from Will, wide balls from the number 9, Mike Temple. Space everywhere. I mean, look at what's going on. The space is all the way out on the left-hand side. Indy is all spaced out, ready to go, and Milwaukee is not compensating for numbers. It's easy to get around the corner on them. 32-0. And the score truly indicates the level of difference today.
Ball goes short.
Not 10.
Looks like that kick will not go 10. So they've got the option now. They go ahead and elect for the scrum. The Impalas will have a center field scrum.
Not 10.
Not enough can be said, though, about the performance between the two teams. I mean, the Impalas have run a mess against Milwaukee, but both teams have had to work tirelessly to get to the Midwest Rugby Championship for this men's D2 final. And in sport, there's always a winner and a loser, but it's about who can show out the best. And we're seeing the Barbarians really rev up their performance despite that wayward kick from Hanley. We'll go ahead and we'll see now. Marsh will move it to Temple. Temple goes ahead and elects for a kick of his own. He pins them all the way back in this end. A good beat, though, from the fullback. Ash is over top of that, though, quickly. Going ahead now, they'll try and find some meters. He slides off one defender. They loop around now. They're going to try and attack these looping plays. Lead to them getting a little bit too close to the sideline. And now Indy not wanting a lot of time off from play. These loops around, causing the defense now to have to regather. We see here a breakdown infraction, though, for a not releasing penalty. And now the Barbarians will have
he
possession of the ball.
Times.
Good Scott. Again, Indy is playing fast. They're going quick off of lineouts, getting the ball all the way around, running loop in. The cohesion of this backs lineup and the way that they've been moving the ball from left to right has really been giving Milwaukee fits. But Milwaukee, great opportunity for set piece on the offensive attack end. This is the green zone. It is time to go full steam ahead. Can they get the ball not only to the outside, opposite side of the field wide, but can they really create opportunities in the middle to make these Indy defenders really have to make decisions? Can they play to their shape and really get around the corner? We'll see with this set piece.
Sorry, guys.
Ball tries to make its way to the back of that line out, but the ball is deemed not straight.
Temple.
So now Frankenfeld will offer an option to the Impalas, and the Impalas are going to go ahead and take the scrum right at the 40.
Did you say you got this?
And again, just when an opportunity is there for them to really capitalize, make the most of an Indy mistake, or excuse me, an Indy misplay, line out, no good. Indy, a chance to relieve pressure. And it looks like they might be setting up for the boot. They might want to just play on the other end of the Barbarians. Let's see how they decide to attack this.
Temple's got a good scrum, so he moves it to McGee. McGee's got time to absolutely boot it down the pitch. A nice little cut back inside. It looks like the tackle was almost around the collar, but he's able to mitigate it and bring the arms down. All players, though, swarming around this left-hand side for the Barbarians.
Keep your hand off.
As we see the Impalas set up with their defensive line. Eyes are up, bodies square. They swarm over top of the ball.
Yeah,
But he loses his footing yet again. Looks like that's the replacement. Number 23, that's Julian Skinner. And unfortunately for Milwaukee, yet again, a wayward pass ends up putting it right back into the hands of the Impalas.
I would like to say that I'm going to believe and assume that this is just an off day for Milwaukee.
Yes.
From the things I've seen, they have the characteristics of a team that can attack strongly. They have the players that seem to want to run and play and encourage. Sorry, I want to let the referee say his piece. But it seems that Milwaukee has everything in line, but right when they have an opportunity to really take advantage of some mistakes and some things, a knock on, a wayward pass, just these small little, they get everything down to 90%, but that last 10% to make it 100 is just failing them. Let's see if they can find a way to piece it together now and get some points up.
Yeah, flanker foot.
Big fight happening up in the front row of the scrum, but they hold strong.
Yeah, I'm good with it. And you got to.
Paula's not move it. McGee will go ahead and move it through the hands. A massive pass goes straight to Goodnight, who's waiting for it. He gets around the corner of Hanley, steps back inside. A looping play to Grenfell. Almost gets them into the try zone. He knocks it on, though.
Okay, we got a
right outside.
10 meters out.
And so now the Barbarians will go ahead and attack out of their end. They're about 10 meters out of the try zone. They've got a lot of ground to cover and big hits coming in
about here.
from
and 2 meters
the Impalas.
outside the 5.
Will force Frankenfeld to bring it back for a scrum. It'll go in favor of the Barbarians.
Indy playing with his set piece aggression, going all the way to the edge, looping passes, wide passes. The Goodnight deciding to go behind the back flip. Almost could have been an ESPN Sports Center top 10, but unfortunately the last little bit with the knock on. Goodnight is having a good day right now, showing up for his team when they need it. Indy's up 32-0, and the Barbarians really trying to piece together phases to get some points up. Barbarians not breaking there, but can they relieve the pressure and get away from their own end? It's an uphill battle right here, but it seems as though they might have a good opportunity. Subs is happening.
Tim, when you have a minute, can you confirm time remaining? I've got 22.
We've got the Impalas. It looks like
24.
that's at number 16. Andrew Gould came on at walk.
24. I double hit my watch.
2 goal for school was what he grew up on. So we'll see what kind of pizzazz he can bring it to the Impalas.
24 minutes remaining.
About 15 minutes gone in this Midwest Rugby Championship for the men's D2 final. And the Impalas are on top 32-0 against the Barbarians. The Barbarians have had moments of brilliance throughout this match, but just not able to build the momentum because of the defensive pressure coming in from the Impalas. They're playing very smart around the breakdown, but we see a change in pace from them. We've seen a couple of breakdown infringements come in early against the Impalas, so both teams went back to the locker room to try and adapt. The Barbarians just need to make smart decisions, especially whenever they're down in this end, because
yeah, I agree.
Lance, if there's one thing that we've seen the Impalas, if they get a turnover, they make a team pay quickly.
No. And
they absolutely will make you pay. And the only unfortunate thing to this is in those shining moments that Milwaukee has had, no points have been able to be earned from it. I don't believe that that Indy is 32 points better at this moment. I just believe that if you capitalize on mistakes and the other side doesn't, then 32-0 just happens to be the score. This game is competitive in its moments, and I believe that if Indy can find a way to get points on the board and get a little confidence, maybe we be seeing it a little stretched out too late to come back completely, but they can definitely bring a scare to Indy if they can find a way to play with a little bit of shape and play with space that they've shown they can attack well in.
Welcome back. There's your mark.
Looks like the Impalas have completely rearranged their scrum. We see the number 21 come in as well. That's
Time is
Andrew
on.
Bray. The number 6 will go to 8, Marshall Maxnay. He wants to make it very
Fine.
clear that he is Mama Nay's favorite out of all of his siblings.
Set.
Barbarians now set up for the scrum. It's a big scrum. We see the Barbarians dominate
We have a-
around the contest.
We have loose
And the
head
Impalas
pulling
will
down
lose
from
their
White,
footing, so
and
Frankenfeld
both
will go
teams kept
ahead
their bind.
and converse with the
Okay,
AR,
thank you.
but it'll be a re-scrum.
We said White.
A
pulling down.
penalty goes in favor of the Barbarians, and that's massive for them as now they can go ahead and gain some more ground.
Nice opportunity to not have to fight in the scrum, but instead alleviate some pressure, get some space. Not a world-class kick,
You've
but
got,
strong,
outside.
still
Okay.
just around the 22-meter line.
Outside.
And Milwaukee, opportunity,
Yeah.
relieve more pressure. But a line out has been troubling them for the entirety of the day. Let's
Out.
see if they can solidify it right here and get their backs a platform they can live with.
Motor has to gather it at the back. Ball is going everywhere, but it's able to go ahead and get fielded by the Barbarians. Not exactly how they wanted to start this phase of attack, but they continue to press on. Good leg drive gets them right at the 22. They've got some room to work with. On the right-hand side, they go ahead and kick through Hanley. Hanley gives a massive kick. Grenfell has to go ahead and field it. He steps back inside. We've seen that step time and time again. Gives it back in to one of their finishers, the number 21, who just subbed on. And now they're on the attack. Grenfell gives it to a prop waiting. They go ahead and continue to take it right into the guts. This leg drive is setting them up for success. McGee tries to give a little bit of a chip kick. Good night, fields it, but then he loses it.
Oh, good night. That would have been the end of all days if he makes that catch off of the kick. Inside, outside, inside step. Put my man on a t-shirt. Ankles gone. But unfortunately, the knock on right after. Let's take a look at this kick. Sets it up, sights it, aims perfectly weighted, and good night with the catch. And scoop. Everybody's falling and slipping. What an amazing move.
Time check.
Wow, he almost put somebody on the highlight reel. Unfortunately, a knock-on keeps him from ending up on his YouTube, where he is followed by Olympic winner, Fiji Olympic winner Jerry.
Here's your mark.
He wanted to make a note to say he's followed on Instagram by an Olympic champion, two-time Olympic champion.
Time is on.
And yet again, we've got a bunch of games going on here. We see the Midwest D3 Championship happening between Detroit and River. We're about 10 minutes gone. Score still remains 0-0. Probably hear it from the Red River Ruffians as they're straight off to the attack. But let's go ahead and bring it back here to this Midwest Men's D2 final. Where we're at 32 to...
It was a white knock before it went into touch.
Okay, so White knockdown will scrum down to blue.
Ball ends up getting tackled outside.
Milwaukee will keep the ball. Knock on the edge. The AR are on top of it. Great comms between the refs, and they looks like they got it right. A knock on the edge. So it's not Indy's ball, but in fact, Milwaukee has an opportunity again. Ball, line out to come.
It looks like there's a lot of opportunity here for Milwaukee continuously, but it's a matter of can they capitalize on it. We've seen the adaptation happen for them a few times, and it's made this beautiful strings of rugby, but they just haven't been able to turn it into magic. We've seen the Impalas be able to really get that final step through to punch in for a try. And the Barbarians just haven't really found much success here. We see the ball go in. It ends up wobbling its way out of the back of the scrum, but they're able to get it cleanly, taken right into that hinge. around the scrum and the number 10. They go ahead and they bring it down. And unfortunately, yet again, just not able to field it, not able to hold on to the ball. Frankenfeld holds out his arm to the right, and the Impalas, they really don't need any favors. They'll go ahead and now get a scrum.
And I do want to add, it isn't the complex plays that Milwaukee is having an issue with. It seems to be the more fundamental catch, gather, two hands on the ball attack plays that they've been having struggles with. We've seen at least 3 or 4 knock-ons with no defender in sight, just looking the ball, not looking the ball in, not making sure you have clear possession. And those little moments erode a team's confidence, especially when the other team's rolling and getting points off of it.
Scrum now is set up and ready to go. We see Temple go ahead and put it in for the Impalas. Scrum looks extremely messy. Frankenfeld will go ahead and hold up the arm for a long arm penalty. Tells Temple, though, that he can't take it all the way back there. He's got to take it through the mark.
You got a penalty.
McGee now will go ahead and set up for a kick. His boot has really gotten these players, his team, down the pitch time and time again.
Back here.
Ball will go ahead and find touch. They're right at the 22.
Let's bring it in, White.
About 20 minutes left to go in this first half. Ball goes up. Now within the lineout, McGee goes ahead and moves it to the centers. We see a big man coming out from left field. That's Sam Wells. Going ahead now and continuing to punch it through. Jonathan Inari supposedly beat Shaq in a 1v1. He takes it right in to this hinge. They're doing a good job with this ball movement. A good cut back inside from the number 21. That's the replacement. That's Andrew Bray. Andrew Bray will get another try on the board for the Impalas.
Andrew Bray. What a line. Works for Todd, it says, from Indianapolis, Indiana. And look at this line going through. The confidence he has. Inside step, and once he finds that gap, there's no stopping him. One-on-one with the fullback. Fullback tried his best, valiant effort, but unfortunately a man rolling downhill that way can't be stopped. Somehow Indy decides to reverse engineer a try, working the fundamentals of rugby. Bray himself reverse engineered a coffee machine to make cocktails, and it looks like these guys are on their way to a celebratory night with those cocktails as they extend their lead to 39-0. Indy rolling. And once again, it's the small mistakes, not compensating for who's in front of you, not spacing out. See these giant spaces in the A gap, and once the ball gets out wide, they're trying to flow too far outside. One inside step, and the replacement comes in. Doesn't need a lot of time, but he will get the points. Indy. The Impalas are running away on the Barbarians.
39-0 with about 15 minutes left to go. Kick goes up and it's right at the 10. It looks like, though, the Barbarians come away with it. The super sub comes in and gets a lot of real estate going for them. That's Thomas Colson. But unfortunately, ball ends up getting turned right over yet again to the Impalas. Looks like the ball just loves to make its way into their hands. McGee has to go ahead and boot it. He's under a little bit of pressure, so ball doesn't find touch. They've got some room to work with to the right-hand side if they can. They cut back inside. Looks like that's the number 15. That's Ellis. Going ahead now and moving it. This pressure defense forces them to continue to cut back in. A little bit of a fast ball movement. Gets them some good go forward. We see some very well-done leg drive coming in from Deo Campo, the saxophone player. Trying to bring some music to the madness. Going ahead now and working this left-hand side. They continue to press on. All they've got to do now is maintain possession. Grams leans down and moves it into the other Groms. Making sure that their defense holds sound. They move it now to and out the back. Looks like
Okay, I need a color.
there is a turnover happening there for the Impalas. The Impalas now come up with it thanks to Inari. Inari moves it away. He gets it to Goodnight. Goodnight does not need space.
Goodnight.
Goodnight gets a offload off of the ground. They're going ahead and they're continuing now. He decides to become a scrum half, a man of many talents. Temple now is finally there to go ahead and clean it up. They're knocking at the door. A good low tackle, though, happening from the Barbarians. Keeps them out of the try zone. They're continuing to press on. Temple now looking for some forwards to come in. They go ahead and try and use the pick and go, edging their way at ankles. Continuing now on, looks like they're unfortunately not able to get underneath at the Barbarians, so the Impalas will go ahead and punch in yet another try, and that'll bring our score 44-0 in this D2 final.
What I saw was encroaching around the breakdown.
Okay.
And coming up, shooting up off the back.
I let the refs.
Okay.
Right there around the break.
Thank you.
All right. So, turnover, Impalas get the ball back. Goodnight himself doing major work, getting a break, offload, and this Indian team is roaring to go. What a great steal there. Got the ball away. Goodnight. Hands on the ball, inside move, shakes off two defenders, finds himself one-on-one with the fullback, two hands on the ball, plays the show, but not there. The offload from one knee. Woo! That is magic, everyone. To advance the ball for this Indy team, and he gets up off the ground, plays scrum half, and before you know it, 3 phases later, the leg drive and team continuity from this Indy team creates another forward driving situation, and they add on to this already expansive lead, 44-0 with a kick to come. One thing you said earlier, Darian, that I think is spot on. The ball absolutely loves the Impalas. Every time it's one loose, rolling around somewhere, it seems like Indy has their hands on it. And man, good things come when you got your hands on the ball and your team is on offense.
Temple now looking like he's having a staring contest with Frankenfell. Not sure if we're holding up the game a little bit. He goes ahead now and boots it. Ball goes a little bit to the left. He won't get the conversion now. So that's still 44-0. The Barbarians just unfortunately not able to get any points on the board this whole match. We've got about 12 minutes left to go for this D2 final, and we can say pretty confidently that the Impalas are going to take this one and run with it. But again, we talk about how you want to finish out your season, the resiliency that has to get you to this point. What can the Barbarians show that they want to leave for their team to end the season?
To be honest,
going ahead now.
Tommy.
Going ahead now and continuing to press on. Ball ends up almost getting bobbled. That's the try score with the leg drive. The number 21. Can he go ahead and get some more points on the board? That's Bray. Bray getting them right back into the same spot yet again. Holds onto the ball very well. Temple now moves it to McGee. McGee not able to field it. Ball goes a little bit wayward. And now they end up in the same exact spot as where they were at before. The Impalas now on the attack.
Oh!
A little bit of a chip kick through. Was that from a forward? See some work here happening in the forward pods. The creativity gets them yet another try. Looks like that was the number 16.
You beaut. What a dribble through. This grub is so perfectly weighted. Oh my goodness. Simple. Not much effort. What a grub. The line speed defensively was there for the Barbos on the middle, but no need. We'll just go right behind you. And one little tap later, and everything is unfolding for the Barbos. But it starts earlier with the line break that got them down here. I'm going to be honest. It seems like a team defeated At a moment like
Sorry,
this
I didn't
is
mean to be
gut
rude.
check time.
Just
What do
not
you
your
stand for?
place.
Do you stand on business? What are your principles? There is no quit as long as we're in between these lines and no whistles. And it seems like the Barbarians are giving away line breaks and leaking left and right. You say it's the end of their season. This is a great moment for them to show that they deserve to be in these moments, but they have to put something together. They have to get points on the board because this Indy team is showing absolutely no mercy,
You're at 30.
and they're going to score as many points as they can. It seems like
No.
they're grubbing, crossfield kicking, offloading on the way down, one-handed. The only thing we haven't seen is a backflip and behind-the-back pass, and I think those might be coming in the last 10 minutes the way Indy has confidence as this time ripples on. Barbarians have to step up now, get some points on the board, and I think if they allow themselves to be defeated, we might actually see this score get all the way upwards to the 60s. Who knows?
Temple.
I hope yeah.
Temple finally slots it through for a conversion. That'll bring our score 51-0. Less than 10 minutes left to go. Henley goes ahead and kicks it straight up. You see here, there was a little bit of a contest for the ball,
Scrum advantage.
but the Impalas end up on top. Going ahead now and moving it through the hands. Forwards are anxiously waiting for that ball, but not going down willingly. They still have a lot of fire left to burn. McGee goes ahead and uses the boot. We see a lot of pressure coming in from Goodnight. Goodnight trying to get them out of bounds. He's unsuccessful. This pressure defense coming in from the Impalas. They are swarming over top of the Barbarians, and that defensive effort will be rewarded. The not rolling away penalty. A side entry coming in from Frankenfell.
And we talk about confidence. Again, another kick, another chip, putting and applying massive pressure to this Milwaukee team. This Indy team seems to be confident, and with a Midwest championship, they are a test for any team that they will face going into the national rounds. I mean, this team looks like they are primed and ready to really make impact on the national stage in the USA Club realm. 51 points to prove that they're the best team in the Midwest, and we still have more than 6 minutes to go, and another opportunity, another chance at the doorstep. Indy could possibly, like I said before, push the score upwards of 60 and higher because they have no thought of slowing down. It seems as though they had a chance to go for 60 plus, and they're going to do it.
And if you're the Barbarians right now, your only thought should probably be to absolutely lose your mind. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. We see here now they'll have some time to attack for the last 7 minutes of this D2 final for the Midwest after a not straight call from the Impalas. They've exhausted their bench, so it looks like they will run through most of their subs.
Coach.
But the Barbarians, again,
Fine.
let's see some fire from them.
Come on, guys. Here's the mark. Okay, I know we had some changes. We need to keep the gap and then come together on set.
Frankenfell communicating the expectation from the front row. Again, they've subbed out both of their props. What a performance from Oldegus and Irvin, who dominated throughout their performance for the Impalas. You see here a big scrum coming in from the Barbarians. A massive pass almost ends up making them have to pay a little bit too much, but the wing is able to go ahead and field it. I was a little bit slow coming out, but this defensive line coming up square, making these big hits. Afen gets a little bit of some space. They're continuing to move. Using these massive passes, they try and work it around. The wing now has some space to work with. He's got some speed, cuts back inside. The support is a little bit late coming in, but they are able to field it. Ball now is on the attack. The number 10 tries to loop it over. We see here the replacement. He gets tackled right at the 50. These offloads happening on the ground are setting him up for success. Ball ends up going past all of the hands of the Barbarians. And yet again, when we think that
First by Blue.
the Barbarians are going to ride off of the high of these beautiful phases of play, they end up with a massive low, and that will give a turnover and a scrum going in favor of the Impalas. We've seen this time and time again throughout this D2 final.
Crouch. Bang.
A little bit less than 4 minutes to go in the second half before we crown our men's D2 Midwest Rugby champion. Temple goes ahead and he puts the ball in.
Stay bound.
Scrum is getting dominated, though, at the front. Getting pushed back. The number 8, the number 6 now has to go ahead and give a show and go and cut back inside because of that pressure. Cuts back inside. This pressure forces a little bit of a mistake for the Impalas. Uncommon for the number 12, Inari. And so it'll be a scrum. It gets them a little bit of some meters.
No, they pushed you guys back.
Chance, opportunity. It's a moment. 51-0 looks really bad. 51-7 might not look much better, but it doesn't look as bad as 51-0. I need this Barbarian team to put it all together and show us why they're the second best Midwest D2 team. Get some points on the board right now for the home team and for your own confidence. And if you look on the right-hand side, you see the guy in the pink. That is Badger Kings Rugby, always showing love to everything Midwest, everything Wisconsin. As his Wisconsin team finds himself getting out of the scrum, playing to the edge, and an opportunity to score. Can they make the most of it, Darren?
Inari trying to go in and make a mess of the breakdown, but that effort will be in vain as we see the Barbarians continue to press on. Grams goes ahead and moves it back to the left-hand side. Big Fen coming in from the big man. Grams now goes ahead and gives a longer pass to the fly half. He gives another big pass of his own. There's some space to work with out to the right and the left, but he likes to go ahead and take in 2 defenders.
Yeah.
They go ahead and counter right at the breakdown, and now
Blue number 13 outside.
an advantage will come in for the number 13. McGee is met by the substitute, so he's got to go ahead and give it to one of his finishers, who is trying to finish this massive run. Good leg drive sets them up to be right within the 50, and McGee goes ahead and gives it right back inside. He tries to offload it to the number 22. Advantage was well gained just off of that long leg drive, so that'll be a knock-on for the Barbarians right within the 40.
Another chance for a break. Wayward pass, a little bit behind, couldn't gather it in. But I tell you this now, this Indy team doesn't care to slow down, doesn't care to give up ground. Instead, they're trying to add to their point total. The confidence is high, and with less than a minute left in the D2 Midwest Championship, they have no slowdown, no quit in them. Barbarians with a chance. 30 seconds left. Can they put points on the board?
Grab jersey, white tight head.
Head coach of the Impalas, Chaz Banks, says that he's never had a hangover. I think that the Impalas might make it a challenge tonight with this massive win, 51-0. A big crashing run comes in from the number 13. He doesn't stay down. He continues to pump the legs. He's right at the 22. This is what we want to see from them. Ball gets a little bit slow coming out. Grams now tries to move it wide. They cut back in. Looping play happens off of the deck. Take it right into the guts of the Impalas. The Impalas holding strong, though, in their defensive line. continuing to come up and put on the pressure. Slow ball coming out yet again for Grams. He moves it to the sub. That's Patrick Ratzberg. They've got room now to work it out wide if they can. Ball ends up getting almost knocked on. An advantage goes up because of the hand in the way. Frankenfeld will go ahead and bring it back. The number 10 elects to go ahead and go quick. They're not 10 yet, so he's got some room to work with. Trying to find anybody. Finally, the substitute comes in. Gets his knee to ground, works his way down. Really trying their best to get in some sort of try or some points. The Barbarians ruthless in their leg drive when they get into contact, but these massive double tackles, putting them straight to ground. The Impalas going a little bit over time now. Colster gets brought to ground quickly. Grams slowing the ball down, allowing the defense now to set up. Inari swarms over top. They go ahead and work it to the left-hand side. Looks like that's the number 4. He gives it back inside. Grams now tries to do a little bit of a show and go himself. He's met heavily, though, by the Impalas. No fooling him. This is a massive round of possession, though. Probably the best round of possession that they've had all game. Doing a good job of holding on to the ball. Inari trying to counter-wreck. He goes ahead and jumps out. And so they'll go ahead and pick and go. It looks like somebody's got their hands in there. The Impalas got it. Inari will go ahead and kick it out of the back. That'll be game. Frankenfeld gives a blow for the whistle twice. And right there are your D2 champions, the Indianapolis Impalas, with a 51-0 win. Massive win over the Milwaukee Barbarians. Lance, final thoughts on this match?
They were better on the day. They were better in flashes and moments. The Milwaukee team fought hard the entire game. The score might not show it, but congratulations to Indy Impalas, your Midwest D2 champions. Good job, boys.
Coming up next, we will have the Columbus women's rugby play against Pittsburgh Forge. You'll be seeing some big rugby coming in all day. Not enough can be said about players. Or good night for man of the match. Lance, you talked about him the whole entire time, and as a fellow winger, what can you say about these back three?
These guys work well in tandem, work well together individually. Like I said before, when good night's on your team, it's a bad day for the other guys. He showed up today in moments. Good job for the Indy winger.
Nice run.
And we'll be bringing you rugby all day here, right outside of Chicago. We're here at the Chicago Blaze complex. We've got the ceremony coming for you live because of big runs, big hits, and the determination from the Impalas. Not enough can be said about their defensive line. They were smart. They were creative. They worked the ball well. And then they had the boot of McGee. He's a USA Eagle, and he showed us time and time again what he's capable of. Lance, this grubber, we couldn't have said enough good things about it. We'll go ahead and tune into Rob Hammerschmidt, who's going to bring you our award ceremony.
And I would like to congratulate Michael, captain of the Impalas, on a well-earned victory, 51-0 over the Milwaukee Barbarians. Congratulations. What were the keys to today?
It was a full team effort, 80 minutes. Everyone played defense. Just a hell of an effort from all the boys.
And we're looking forward to playing in the national championship in the spring. Hey, on behalf of the Midwest, we just want to present this trophy and congratulate you for a fantastic season. Here you go. I'll get out of your way. Okay, once again, congratulations, Captain Michael Temple, and I'm here to congratulate a special player, today's Zwift Media Player of the Match, winger number 11, Braden Goodnight. Congratulations, Braden. Again, what was the key to your success today individually on the wing?
I mean, a lot of my teammates set me up. I couldn't have done it without them. They gave me a lot of great balls. So, I mean, it wasn't just a single-man effort. So, big thanks to them, shout out to them. I mean, yeah, they set me up. They set me up for greatness. So,
awesome. Well, congratulations and good luck in the spring. Take it all the way home, gentlemen.
He started from the very beginning of the day.
I'm here with Captain Tom Frisell of the Barbarians. Tough breaks today, but you guys played hard, had a great fall season. Congratulations on your runner-up trophy, and good luck as you guys continue along into the spring season.
On behalf of the Midwest, we just want to present you this trophy. You guys really did have a fantastic, fantastic season, and you guys really do earn this. Congratulations. Sorry you didn't get the finish you wanted. Cheers.